The Baltic Sea, the center of a growing and constantly evolving region, connecting 9 countries and some 90 million people. Like all the world's oceans, the Baltic Sea is under tremendous stress.
Eutrophication is one of the greatest environmental stressors in the Baltic Sea, and the symptoms of this are the algal blooms we see every summer, as well as large dead zones. These are bottom waters with insufficient oxygen to support life. Eutrophication results from excessive inputs of nitrogen and phosphorus into the Baltic Sea. And our food system, which is broadly agriculture and sewage treatment, is largely responsible for the nutrients that enter the sea.
World leaders have spoken. They've staked out a path forward. The goals have been set for more sustainable use of our common waters. Now it's time for the regional stakeholders to come together and do their part.
It's important to note that in the past several decades, we've made tremendous progress in reducing nutrient inputs to the Baltic Sea. And this isn't true for many other areas of the world, so it's something we really need to recognize. But to reach the environmental goals, we need to do more. And there's opportunities to reduce nutrient loads from land by addressing sources such as agriculture and sewage treatment.
The global use of chemicals has increased 400 times since the 1930s. This means that we are more exposed to chemicals today than ever before. And for most of these chemicals, we don't have enough information to fully assess the environmental and health risks. These chemicals can be released from the products either when we use them or when they become waste. We still need to improve chemicals legislation so that we can identify the most dangerous chemicals in a proactive and systematic way. We also need more information about what chemicals are included in everyday products. Most products like this still don't have a list of ingredients on them. If we change the way we consume, we can also change how we are exposed to chemicals. I believe that collaboration between nations and municipalities can make public procurement a powerful tool to improve chemicals risk management in the Baltic Sea region.
We Baltic Sea scientists are experts in horror stories, and I think my community, the fisheries scientists, are among the most prominent in horror storytelling. For example, when we've been talking about the near collapse of the Baltic Sea cod. I think what these horror stories have taught us is that there are limits to the resilience of all ecosystems, and establishing those limits is a critical scientific question. But then, as soon as we make sure we operate within that space, we have actually a lot of freedom and flexibility and choice. And from my fisheries perspective, I can see that the fisheries issues are very tightly linked to other classic environmental issues in the Baltic Sea. For example, we know that fisheries today are very constrained by the high dioxin levels in herring and salmon, but fisheries are also directly impacting biodiversity through, for example, catching seabirds and marine mammals. These linkages and the trade-offs that emerge is not something that can be solved by science alone, but scientists can, together with businesses and municipalities and other type of stakeholders, together explore different alternatives and thereby go from the horror storytelling to more visionary discussions about how we together create a more resilient and sustainable Baltic Sea future.
More than 1,500 municipalities, countless businesses. We who live in the Baltic Sea region all depend on a healthy sea for food, for transport, for recreation and tourism. If our sea deteriorates, we run the risk of losing these values. But the sea can truly connect everyone who depends on a healthy Baltic. Working together, scientists, policymakers, and financing institutions from throughout the region can identify and implement effective solutions. The work of shaping the future of the Baltic Sea region has begun.